Hey guys, how are you? Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you are. I hope everyone is well. Today I want to talk about a little bit about influence. 4 keys, 4 ways to influence others during challenging times. And with my experience, I believe there are 4 major keys or components a leader, a business owner, a manager, an entrepreneur must be aware of in order to successfully influence his or her people and convince them why they must achieve a certain task or get something done, specifically if there is some sort of resistance to implementing the new ideas. And something funny, right? Influence, it is not hype. Influence, it is not rah, rah, rah. This is not influence. This is hype. Hype, it doesn't last. But if you're a leader, if you're an entrepreneur, if you're a manager, if you're a business owner, I'm sure you're going through challenging times. So how do you influence people? How do you influence people? Now, in this video, I want to share with you 4 ways to influence others during challenging times. But again, influence, I don't mean rah, 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 bullshit, hype. This is hype, and hype doesn't stay. So with my experience, worked in 8 countries, coached a lot of people, gave a lot of keynote speeches, I realized that as a manager, as an entrepreneur, as a business leader, as an owner, maybe as a young leader, somebody who is 25, 30 years old and just got promoted, how do you influence others? How do you influence people at work? And based on my experience, there are 4 major keys or components a manager, a leader, an entrepreneur, a business owner must be aware, so he or she can influence his or her people and convince them they must achieve a certain task or get something done, specifically if there is some sort of resistance to implement the new ideas. And in this video today, I want to share my process. I want to share my experience, 4 ways to influence people at work. So the first thing that you should do is to set goals and create expectations. And part of any manager's responsibility, part of any leader's responsibility towards himself and others, subordinates, colleagues, staff, and so on, is to make sure that they are fully aware what he or she must expect them to achieve. So if you are setting goals, one way to influence people is to set goals and create expectations. And one of the main reasons for work relationships going wrong in the work environment is the failure of one person or both to make it clear what they want from each other. There is little point in a manager criticizing staff for non-delivery of results if the real problem is that you as a leader or as a manager did not let them know what he or she wanted at the first place. You need to let yourself know clearly what you expect. And this is very common. And influencing others in this way is a straightforward process. It is basically about being assertive. And one of the reasons people fail to exercise assertive behavior is that they confuse it with aggressive behavior. Aggressive behavior, it doesn't mean assertive behavior. So as a manager, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you need to be there for your people all the time. As a manager, as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you need to be there to hold hands. But you need to be assertive. And this is how you create expectations, by being assertive. Now, how do you being assertive? You need to communicate properly. Because if you fail to set goals, if you fail to create expectations, people do not know what they expect. So, for example, if you have a new staff, one way to influence staff is to tell them what you expect them to do during the first month of work, during the first 30 or 60 days. So normally what I would do is I sit down and I say, listen, my expectations for you during the first 30 days of work, let's say if you're a sales representative or if I'm hiring a sales manager, is I don't expect you to bring results. I don't expect you to bring any results. But during the first 30 to 60 days of work, I expect you to provide 100% immaculate customer service. I expect you to treat all your customers right. The second thing I expect is for you to put in the effort, to put in 100%. What time you start work, what time you finish work. I expect you to come with questions if there is something about the product they don't understand. So you see, I am refocusing the people away from results and I'm focusing them on process. So they understand what expectations I want in terms of process. Because I know if they do the process right, the results will come. So the first way to influence people at work as a manager, as a leader, is to set clear goals and clear expectations. What is the second thing that you do? The second thing that you do is you need to get commitment. You really need to get commitment. You know, and how do you get committed? Once the basic contract in a relationship has been established, you know what I mean by contract, agreement. Once the basic agreement in a work relationship has been established, it is a kind of powerful advantage for a manager or a leader to be able to secure genuine commitment to ideas and actions from other people. So the first style I talked about, the previous style I talked about setting goals and creating expectations. So the first style is concerned with setting the ground rules. This style, getting commitment, it is about understanding what the other person is capable of doing and contributing. It is an influencing style through which others are given the opportunity to develop. And you really need to give to your staff the opportunity to develop. Its success depends on you doing a number of things well. If you want to get commitment from people, sometimes people say, my staff are not committed, my subordinates are not committed, my suppliers are not committed. If you want to involve others, if you want to get commitment from people, you need to involve them. You need to involve them in a genuine way in decision-making and problem-solving activities. People, you know, psychology is like this. People who are encouraged to take an active part in decision-making, you know, for example, what needs to be done and how it is to be done, these kind of people are usually more committed to carry the task. Because this kind of style, engaging people in decision-making and problem-solving activity, it's the leadership style that pulls people rather than pushes people. And the key advantage here is that a person who really wants to do something, a person, an employee, a staff that really wants to do something, they need far less direct supervision or control from you as a manager or leader, because they understand more fully why certain activities are important. But how do you make them understand in order for you to get commitment? You need to involve them into decision-making and problem-solving activity. So how do you do that? You ask and you listen. You see, listening nowadays is so important. Listening. This is a very important contributor to getting others to believe in themselves and in you as a leader. It is, you know, we live in challenging times. A lot of companies are downsizing. A lot of companies are closing. If you decided to keep some of your people or continue operations, it is challenging, I understand. So this is the time now to listen to your people. It is by listening to other people's ideas, to other people's opinions, to other people's suggestions that you can check mutual understanding. And active listening involves asking the right questions. Active listening is not talking. Active listening is asking the right questions and then shut up and listen. Listen with your, not only with your ears, but with your heart as well. For example, you are sitting down with your staff. So, John, let me see if I understand that right. What you seem to be suggesting is blah, blah, blah. Maria, tell me more about the project idea you have in mind. Elizabeth, nice name. Elizabeth, how do you think we can increase sales? You have been in the company for 6 months now. How do you think we can increase sales? What do you suggest? Lee, let me summarize our discussion. We discussed A, B, C, and D, and the next step is 1, 2, 3 to be completed by next Wednesday, 12 o'clock, right? And then let them answer. John, so you think that in order to improve customer service, we need to create a different structure, right? So these questions, you see, are designed to draw out contributions from others, and for showing understanding and appreciation. And when you do that, you need to focus on the other person's strengths and rather than weaknesses. You see, some people focus on developing the people's weaknesses. You don't have to develop people's weaknesses. You need to identify what each of your staff is strengths and build on those strengths and make them stronger and leverage that strength, that you make the strength so strong that the weakness gets eliminated, the weakness gets destroyed because you develop that strength so much. So extend and build on the other person's ideas rather than just pushing down your own proposal. And you need to be open about your own limitations and lack of knowledge on a specific subject rather than scoring points or attempting to learn by stealth. Create space for others to get on. Create space for your good people to grow, and this includes giving freedom and personal responsibility at work. And this style, getting commitment, compared to my first point, setting goals and creating expectations, it is the one that is most useful when you are delegating as the basis for helping other people grow so they can make the best possible contribution. So how do you influence people? Set goals and clear expectations. Make sure they understand what they expect from you and what you should expect from them with deadlines. And number 2, get commitment. How do you get commitment? You involve people in the decision-making and problem-solving activities. You involve them. How do you do that? You ask questions, and then you listen. And by listening and working with your people, you understand what each of your people's strengths are, and then you take that strength and you develop it, and then you eliminate your weakness, their weakness. So if you have, let's say, a salesperson that is very good on the phone, that is not very good on the phone, but more good on public speaking, then you need to develop that skill so they can do sales for you in another way. You see different salespeople, some people are good face-to-face, some people are good on the phone, some people are good in front of the seminar, some people are good on Zoom or online. So you as a leader, as an entrepreneur, you need to identify each of your staff, each of your people's strengths and build on them. So that's the second thing in order for you, if you want to influence, if you want to be an influential leader in the new normal, number 1, you set goals and clear expectations and you communicate well with assertiveness. You need to be assertive. And the second thing that I suggest you do, you get commitment. The third thing you do is what? You need to create enthusiasm and energy. Action creates action. If nothing changes, nothing changes. If I walk into a company right now, if I walk into a restaurant and I see energetic, enthusiastic staff, I know the manager behind them is energetic and enthusiastic. And at the same time, if I walk into a shop, into a restaurant, and I see demotivated, rude staff, they don't care about the customer, it means the manager doesn't care about the staff as well. So what you need to do right now, how do you create enthusiasm and you generate energy right now? Right now is extremely challenging time. So what you can do is you need to pull out and look at the bigger picture. You need to to look for the bigger picture, for the vision. The leader that is effective is the one who can explain the vision, share the vision, explain to the people that if you come with me, this is what we're going to achieve, and this is what it will mean for you personally, and then get them together to achieve that vision, give them the path, but let them walk by themselves. And right now, if you have daily challenges, weekly challenges, monthly challenges, take away that and show them the big picture. So this style of creating enthusiasm and generating energy is important to become an influential leader. So this kind of style is about influencing others, but it's different from the other style because this style, it aims to create excitement, energy, and a shared enthusiasm by making appeals to the emotions and values of the people that are being influenced. So how do you do it? The strategy here is to identify and articulate a sense of shared or common purpose related to an important future objective or goal. Try to strengthen your people's beliefs that the goal is out there and it's worth going for. And that can be achieved if we all stick together and pull together. Because that sense of achievement, that sense of energy, that sense of enthusiasm, that sense of action creates action, it mobilizes energy and a sense of excitement by activating the feelings of strength and confidence that are generated by being part of the group, part of a family, part of a company. So it is not about you, it is about them. So you need to make the appeal to people at the level of their hopes, their values, their expectations, their aspirations. Martin Luther King, I have a dream. People follow him. Kennedy, ich bin ein Berliner. People follow him. Remember, there was another guy, I think called Bob Geldof, feed the world. So it's not about you, it's about them. So you create enthusiasm and you generate energy in order to influence others, and then you take people with you. And how do you do this? You need to know what turns your people on. It means you need to know your staff. If you have a small company, 5 people, or a big company, 5,000 people, you need to know your staff. It means you need to understand their hopes and aspirations and what appeals to them. You need to be able to put together and communicate a vision for the future. And I understand right now the biggest certainty is uncertainty, but you have to put something together. This is why strong leadership is important. Being enthusiastic yourself when communicating this sense of shared objective. Enthusiasm is infectious. Enthusiasm is infectious and helps to counteract that we heard it all before response from people, But you need to believe in the idea yourself. You need to be convinced yourself. You need to believe in the idea yourself. And as a leader, do you have the ability to paint pictures with your words that generate excitement about the possibilities that exist in an idea or a project? So that's the third thing you do if you want to be influential. Create enthusiasm, create energy, create excitement. Action, create action. And the last thing you do is counteractive. Number 4, you need to use a logical argument. Logical argument. What do I mean? Let me explain. There are many situations at work, probably you experience, where you have this kind of people that are a little bit more geeky. They like data. And they like to be influenced by things by simply giving the reasons why. People who are giving the facts and and data are much better placed to make decisions and judgments. So if you have this kind of people in your company, you need to give them facts, data, experts' opinions, and logic, because this is the basis of persuading others to accept an idea, a way of doing something, or an argument in favor of some of your action, right? And so using a logical argument places an emphasis on the use of facts, data, expert opinions, and logic. For example, if you want to change your CRM software, you get the data and you say, according to this data, according to these metrics I have run, according to this and this is the way we need to go, because this is the feedback from the customer, this is the expert opinion, this is the fact, this is the data. And this one is different from previously, because here you're playing with emotions, but in a different way. You're using facts, data, and expert opinions and logic to influence people. And it's different from the first style because it relies on logical argument rather than the use of status or power that you have as a leader. And it's different also from the third style, which I just explained before, because the third style appeals to emotion. This style appeals to logic. So this style appeals more to reason rather than emotion. So many people, if you have this kind of people in your company that come from a background in scientific discipline, are often best influenced in this way, and will themselves you'll find out that themselves they tend to use it when they attempt to influence others. So just to recap, there are, for me, with my experience, 4 ways to create influence. And I don't mean hype. I mean influence that has a positive contribution and transformation to your people. You need to set goal and create clear expectations. Number 2, you need to get commitment. Number 3, you need to create enthusiasm and energy. And number 4, you need to use a logical argument. And that's it. And if you can do these things, you will be able to strengthen the infinite loop of experiences that flow from employees to customers and back again. And whether you are an entrepreneur, a leader, a business owner, somebody who is struggling with the business, if you can do these things, if you can become influential, you will guarantee be in a better position for the new normal that will emerge from the COVID-19 pandemic. Thank you for listening. Have a good day. Any questions, do not hesitate to PM me. I need to go. I'm thirsty. I need a coffee. I hope you learned. Bye-bye. See you soon.